He thought he might steal a few firecrackers, too. He liked the teepee-shaped kind that spewed sparkles of colors all over the place, then finished by blowing up. Those were his favorites by far, and he thought if the stand had any, he might just take some. And if they didn't have any, he thought some black cats and some Roman candles would do. The stand was almost directly across the highway from where he lived with his mother's body, so he didn't want to just walk over and rob it. And he didn't want to drive his car over there either, 'cause he figured someone sitting there all day in the stand looking across the highway might have noticed it parked under the sweet gum tree next to the house. And if they did, and he drove over there and robbed the stand, sure as shit someone would remember his car. It didn't take a brain surgeon to figure that one. Bill began to consider the angles. One angle he was sure of was, now that his mother had died at the age of about 10 million, there wouldn't be any more checks signed by her for cashing. He had practiced writing her name until he had worn out about a half-dozen ballpoint pens, but never could feel confident about the way he put it down. The checks had started to stack up now, all the way to 7, and he didn't think he could get away with forgery. His mother had relished a distinct style in penmanship that only a chicken scratching in cow shit might duplicate with authenticity. The old gal had been right enough and mean enough 6 months earlier, but one night, after watching championship wrestling, perhaps due to excitement over a particularly heated contest or an overly vigorous inhalement of gummy bears, which she stuffed into her bony body as if they were the fruit of life, she had gone to bed and hadn't gotten up again. Bill thought at first he ought to report it. Then it came to him that if he did, he'd lose the house and wouldn't have any place to live. His mother owned everything, and except for a bit she doled out to him on check-cashing day, providing him with a roof and food to eat, there was nothing else. She hadn't left anything to him in her will. She had donated it all to some kind of veterinarian research thing so cats could be saved from bad livers or some such shit. Frankly, Bill didn't give a flying damn about a bunch of cat livers or any part of a cat. The little bastards could die for all he cared. He'd certainly taken care of all his mother's cats after her death, unless the fuckers had sprouted gills or had scissors to get out of those rock-weighted toast sacks he put them in. He figured they were resting pleasantly at the bottom of the Sabine River. No liver trouble, no problems whatsoever. No, he didn't think he ought to call the authorities and tell them his mother was dead. It seemed wiser to turn up the air conditioner in her room and keep that fan blowing and be quiet. Only thing was, now the electricity bill had come twice, then a notice, and then it had been cut off. And with no juice, Mama began to stink something furious. He put a big black trash bag over her feet up to her waist and pulled one over her head, tied them together where they met at the waist with one of her robe belts. But that didn't hold the stink in worth a damn. He poured a whole bottle of brute cologne over her, and that helped some. She smelled like a 16-year-old boy on his way to his first date. Finally, the cologne fermented with Mama and gave off an even more intense aroma. But eventually that passed. Between all the air conditioning, the baggies, the heat, and the stale air, the old gal's semi-mummified. Not so much she didn't still smell dead, but enough it didn't run him out of the house anymore. It was now like a dog had died under the porch and was almost rotted away. Worse than the odor was the lack of electricity. All the food in the refrigerator had spoiled, and he had to sit in the dark at night and smoke his mother's cigarettes and look at a dead TV set and eat vegetables out of cans. There were plenty of cans, but he didn't really want any of it. There were goddamn beets and goddamn green beans and goddamn corn and goddamn new potatoes. Not a shred of meat except for some beanie weenies, and he jumped on those scamps 2 days after the old lady bit the big one. So now it was nothing but canned vegetables. and they were running low, and he'd foolishly pushed the beats back until